All right, let's talk about Christian Watson, a very unique player, someone who, when he was drafted, there was a lot of just debates about him even when he was drafted because he's this 6'4" guy who runs a 4.3. He's got the incredible athleticism. Is he the next DK Metcalf, the guy who might be rough around the edges, but you know what? The athleticism is the athleticism. If you can teach him some other stuff, you're going to get a superstar player like what happened with Metcalf. Well, there was a point when it really felt like, 2 years ago, that was going to happen. Didn't fully work out that way, or at least hasn't fully worked out that way so far, but there still are some things to like about Watson. So I kind of want to make a video talking about the good and the bad of Christian Watson. What is he bringing to the table for the Packers, and how good can he get, and what are the potential concerns for Watson moving forward? So yeah, let's get into all that. Before I do though, just wanted to mention I do have a movie channel. If you like movies, you can check that out. The link is in the description. Do some fun stuff on there like movie reviews, stuff like that. So if that seems like it's your kind of thing, check it out. But anyway, let's talk about Christian Watson. So I want to start off the film portion of this video talking about really what went right 2 years ago, what was kind of Christian Watson known for, which is a play like this. It's a deep shot, one-on-one matchup down the field. This is kind of what he became known for. If you remember 2 years ago, you might look at the 3-6 record and say, oh right, they got off to a slow start last year. No, this was 2 years ago. They got off to a really slow start that year as well in Aaron Rodgers' last year as a Packer. Largely due to the fact that they didn't really have a receiver who could win in a one-on-one matchup like what you see with Watson here. However, when this play begins, you're going to see that, Watson was hurt at the beginning of the year. Once he kind of came into the fold and they really put him on the outside right here, you see him kind of blow by the corner who's supposed to be covering him. Not just that, he adjusted the ball nicely. There was contact, but not enough to slow him down, and he gets into the end zone for a touchdown on that play. This kind of rejuvenized the Packers and led them to nearly getting a playoff spot. They were a win away on Sunday Night Football against the Lions from getting into the postseason. Watson showed a lot of real flashes this first year, even if it wasn't a fully consistent picture. Like a play like this, which is actually a Jordan Love play as well, where the way it kind of worked was the Eagles were just crushing the Packers, and it wasn't really Aaron Rodgers' fault, but they just took him out as more of a precautionary measure. Hey, let's take him out. Things aren't going well. Let's keep him healthy for the second half of the year. You see Watson's route just kind of more of an over-the-middle route. All right, well, let's see how this works. Well, again, it's going to be the speed of Christian Watson. Actually runs the route pretty well as well, which is something that was a big kind of question mark of can he run routes well? And while not consistently, on this play, certainly yes. And you see he is wide open. But it's not just him getting open on this play. First, you're going to see him get to the edge pretty well. The safety does not take a great angle. Blankenship did not do a great job here. And at this point right now, for a lot of receivers, it's like, wow, good job. You had a big gain. But for Watson and the speed he has, you're going to see him accelerate, gets by both of those Eagles players, and gets into the end zone for a touchdown. I think a lot of people jumped the gun after this play and said, wow, Jordan Love is great, when the reality is this was most of a Christian Watson play, but it certainly helped out Jordan Love's stats. But these were the kind of things we saw in his rookie year, and we're expecting to see more of in year two. But when year two came around, it didn't quite go as well. He still has shown flashes for sure. I think we've seen a lot more of this type of stuff, though. For one thing, I think teams are just paying more attention to Christian Watson. After a year, teams kind of get, okay, he can burn us down the field. Let's make sure we at least have a fast corner on him, or we have someone, safety deep, or maybe just someone playing pretty far off. Stuff like that. There also is one other aspect that I should mention that I noticed when watching film. You see this play, it's going to, at first look pretty good. Christian Watson is getting open down the field right here. Like, okay, do we have a touchdown on this play? Well, here's kind of the thing. This throw is a bit behind. And look at Christian Watson. Goes up, makes a catch, and it was still 50 yards down the field. So, it's hard to get the ball that far down the field, all of that stuff. But it felt like sometimes the timing and the rhythm with Watson and Love just wasn't quite there the way it was with Rodgers. I think that they just didn't fully have the chemistry down, which kind of makes sense, right? Because obviously Watson was getting mostly first-team reps his first year, so him and Love were teammates, but probably weren't playing a ton together. And this year, of course, with Watson being kind of in and out of the lineup, it kind of makes sense that they don't fully have the chemistry down. But I did kind of feel like they didn't have a perfect chemistry, which is always so important on deep shots. And maybe if they can get that down, we could see Watson start to reach his full potential. Because like also something like this, where it's going to be, again, it's a one-on-one matchup on the outside, single safety deep, that kind of classic thing that you expect Watson to be really good at beating. On a 3rd down and 6 right here, maybe you can get a touchdown on this play. But with that threat, you see how it's just a curl route that Watson is running on this play. And because there is the threat of his speed, when this play begins, he starts off accelerating so well that when he cuts, there's just a big window here. And for Love, I critiqued a little bit of the chemistry downfield with him and Watson. This part of the chemistry, he typically had pretty down. As you see, perfect throw. Watson's able to make the grab. They get to the 30-yard line, all that good stuff. So, pick up the 1st down. So, again, this is kind of the flashes we saw. I would say that while we're still wanting more consistency for Watson, I think it's undeniable that there are just consistent flashes that we see of really good stuff, and if you can put it together, maybe there could be just more of this stuff, and we see it more frequently. So yeah, those are kind of my thoughts on him as a player. I do think that like most of what I see from him is positive. I think that I want to see more consistency from him, which is something that I feel like I always talk about at the end of the videos, because it's always hard to talk about. It's always hard to show consistency. It's impossible to show consistency. Unless this video is going to be an hour long, like, I can't show you, every play that happens. That's the whole point of the video, is to show you the key details, so that way you don't have to watch, 10 hours of film yourself to come to these conclusions, right? But for me personally, that is one thing that I do think I want to see more of, is the consistency. And to be honest, I want to see a little bit more of the splash plays. The splash plays happen at such a high rate during a stretch of the 2022 season with Aaron Rodgers. I do want to see them more. And in 2023 with Jordan Love, we still saw them. They didn't not exist, but let's just be honest. Watson was a role player last year for the most part. Like, again, part of it was injuries. He wasn't able to stay out there, which is becoming a thing with him. Like, he needs to stay healthy. He does. But, like, even more so than that, I do think that, you want to see him not just be a burner, but you want to see him be a more consistent player. And I do find it interesting where at the beginning of this video, I kind of made the DK Metcalf comparison and said, is he going to be just a DK Metcalf, or is he going to be, more, or not just a DK Metcalf, is he going to be like DK Metcalf? Like, as in, is that his upside? Or is he going to be just a, decent, role player? Like that's kind of the question, which is why he went in the 2nd round. And as of right now, he's kind of shown flashes of being both, right? Which is why it's really confusing. I do think I have seen him, again, I still feel like I need to see him get the complete route tree like we saw Metcalf get as he got, into the NFL. That's kind of the thing that has to develop with Watson. And if it does, I think he could be a star player. But for now, I'm still kind of just waiting on that. And I don't really know what to make of him. He seems like someone who I still could see going either way. But those are kind of my thoughts on Watson. Let me know in the comments below. What are your thoughts on him? Always love hearing from you. And of course, as always, thanks for watching.